I've got a bad feeling. If anything happens to me, I need you to take care of the current first and second year students, Yuta. Everyone is exhausted after Shibuya. Neither their mind nor their body can take this anymore. When we're first introduced to Yuta Okkotsu, he's a timid, shy, and relatively weak child. Yuta has possession of the special grade curse Rika Orimoto. This curse being created by Yuta's refusal to accept her death, his failure to protect her. As Rika does what Yuta first could not, she protects the person she loves most, even if it means causing too much harm to everybody else around them. This eventually causes Gojo to intervene in Yuta's life and take him in as a student at Jujutsu High. As Yuta goes on missions with his fellow first years, his shy nature gives him a hard time in being of any use at first, but when push came to shove, Yuta would never allow this to prevent him from saving his friends. He did whatever he must in order to protect them. When Suguru invades Jujutsu High, he beats all of his friends within an inch of their lives, and Yuta comes across this sight. He instantly snaps, and for the first time, he claims that he's going to kill someone. Yuta at this moment came to vocalize his core purpose. This purpose being to protect the people that he loves. These people that have given him a reason to live must be saved and cherished. As Yuta sees that they've all taken fatal damage, he instantly picks up the reverse curse technique and heals all of them to decent health. This makes Rika express jealousy with his friends, and she picks them up, and for the first time, Yuta commands her to place them down with absolute anger and firmness. Yuta will do what he must in order to protect everybody, even if that means crushing a special grade sorcerer in his first month as a sorcerer. Yuta is able to match and eventually overcome Geto, simply because that's what his purpose required him to do. If Yuta could not defeat Geto here, his friends would perish, and thus, his reason to live would become obsolete. After this battle, Yuta lets Rika go, instantly losing his special grade status and leaves to train for a decent amount of time, going from a grade 4 sorcerer to a special grade once more. He understands that he needs to remain strong in order to protect everyone, so he worked extremely hard to regain the strength that he once had, allowing him to regain his special grade status. When Yuji is possessed by Ryomen Sukuna, he goes on a rampage in Shibuya. This massacre ending with the usage of his malevolent shrine, completely cutting up Tokyo and even catching one of his best friends, Inumaki, in the crossfire. Although this did not kill Inumaki, it permanently scarred him. The loss of Inumaki's arm is surely something Yuta had felt frustration with. Although he expressed his frustration with Yuji was no more than a ruse, I'm sure that Yuta had truly felt this frustration towards Sukuna. When Yuta was gone, one of his friends suffered a permanent injury, but Yuta would likely not allow this to happen more than once, right? When Satoru Gojo and Ryomen Sukuna had their climactic battle in order to decide who truly deserves the title of the strongest, Yuta Okkotsu is seen shaking and panicking multiple times throughout. This was interpreted as fear, and it is, but not for the reason you may think. Yuta displays his fear due to the fear of losing Gojo, the fear of witnessing the loss of someone he holds dear, and failing to protect them once more. Yuta's core desire is to protect everybody that he loves, and so it's natural for him to feel this fear, especially when he is not allowed to intervene. As the fight reaches its climax, Yuta begins to feel as if Sukuna has an unfair advantage over Gojo, and he snaps, requiring every other sorcerer in the room, including mentors, to prevent him from intervening with the battle, and sticking to Gojo's plan. The reason Yuta and Yuji are the only ones to go against Gojo's plan here is because sticking to this plan goes against their respective purpose as sorcerers from their perspectives. Yuta believes that Gojo needs to be protected, and Yuji believes that Yuta helping Gojo would allow the eradication of Sukuna to be more efficient. They cannot help but want to intervene. The battle comes to a close, and Gojo has been killed, right in front of Yuta's eyes. Yuta has had his purpose as a sorcerer violated by Sukuna once with Inumaki, and now, with the death of Gojo, twice. And he hasn't been able to do a single thing about it. Yuta is seen with much anger and frustration at Gojo's loss. More than anybody else, he's heartbroken, as he most likely feels regret for never intervening in the first place, although everybody else told him not to. We've seen the purpose of the special grades be violated before, with Yuki's purpose of sacrificing cursed energy, resulting in her death due to facing a man who stands for everything she stands against. Geto's purpose of eradicating humanity, resulting in his death due to wearing himself too thin against the organization that was created to protect it. And lastly, Gojo's original purpose, the purpose that brought him to the level of a special grade while growing up at a very young age. This purpose that was instilled to him the moment he was born was to simply be the strongest, and this resulted in his death when he had to face a deity for this title. This deity transcending time in order to reincarnate himself into the modern day. What happens when the purpose of a special grade is violated, and they're left to bathe in that failure? We've seen Sukuna snatch Yuji's purpose of sacrificing himself in order to kill him for good with the body swap and possession of Megumi, and this has left Yuji with a burning desire to do anything in order to kill Sukuna once and for all. But with someone as powerful as Yuta, obtaining this same desire to kill Sukuna no matter what, a desire that requires way more power to achieve than any other purpose one could possibly have in this story, it may just result in something interesting. Yuta Okkotsu has once promised Yuji that he'd be the one to kill Sukuna in the event that he were to cause havoc once more, and I believe that he'd certainly keep this promise. Currently in the story, Yuta Okkotsu has no reason to hate anybody more than he hates Sukuna, as when it comes to Kenjaku, he had only prioritized him for the sake of Gojo's emotional well-being, but here, Sukuna has actually dealt a heavy and personal blow to Yuta. Although Yuji, Higuruma, and Hakari are currently on the battlefield, I am certain that Yuta Okkotsu in this current arc will enter the battle when the time is right, and he will give his all in order to eradicate the King of Curses once and for all. As Gojo once asked Yuta to protect everybody in the event that anything happens to him, this is the moment that he finally shines. Sukuna has violated everything that both Yuji and Yuta lived for many times over, and I can't see this arc ending in any other way than these two giving it their all to defeat him. These two, including Hakari, were said by Gojo to be able to eventually surpass him, and we may just see it here, because when it comes down to it, this battle does determine whether or not Gojo's final purpose comes to fruition, right? That's the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you've been around the channel for a while, this will kind of remind you of a previous one. Another prediction I'm throwing out here. Yuta Okkotsu will play a huge role in the extermination of Sukuna. This may be obvious to some, but a lot of people believe that he's going to focus on Kenjaku, whatever. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. Try to make it as cool and entertaining as possible. And with that, have a great day, guys. Thank you for everything, too. Peace out.